Just kidding.
Are you doing Zoom comedy right now, Becca? Oh, I guess we'll talk about it when we're. Never mind.
Yeah, save it for the podcast. God. Alrighty. Let's start.
Fucking A.
Okay.
Welcome to the Gag On This podcast. Check the episode description. You got the show and guest social media in there, as well as a link to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch and hear the recording 2 days before it is released. Website, gagonthispodcast.com. Email us, gagonthispodcast@gmail.com. Like and follow our Facebook page. I am the man they call Big Nick. I am joined by the biggest showgirl, the Italian stallion that is Danny D.
What?
Sharon is doing something.
I'm here.
Hey!
I'm
We got Sacramento poet laureate and host of the Iambic Poetry podcast, Sharon.
Yeah, that's me. What's up, Becca?
Hi, Sharon.
And we are joined by the hilarious Bay Area comedian that is Becca Henry.
Hearts.
Right?
So
I think you're the only female that they're like, oh my God, we have to get Becca Henry on. And I'm like, okay, no one else they care. They're like, let's get Becca on.
Just me.
Well, it's
Yeah.
also because I know Becca, like
Yeah.
pre-comedy days. So
You don't know anyone, do you?
Yes, he does.
yeah,
you?
Becca and I work together.
We worked together.
Oh, you guys didn't do comedy together though.
No,
So do you really know
We
each
had
other?
jobs.
I had the awkward thing of being her boss.
Oh
You can
yeah?
believe that, yeah.
Oh, how was he as a supervisor?
So professional, just always professional.
I
Just
bet.
the epitome of professionalism.
You want
Yeah.
to know why? Because he's a simp.
Oh,
He
No,
loves his job.
I was actually so unprofessional.
Yeah, I was being facetious.
I had tons of people make complaints about me.
Really, you got some head in the cubicle.
No, but me and the other boss, we talked about how when you come in the chick has to like duck walk to the toilet.
I forgot about that conversation.
Like that's the conversation. And this was at 7 a.m. That's how our day started.
Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter what time is irrelevant when you're talking about filling up a bitch with cum, I guess. You know, I don't know.
I mean, it kind of is.
I don't know. Boys and their stupid little talks.
Whatever, Becca joined in. Don't give me that shit.
Becca's a lady. I'm just kidding.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Things I hear.
Guys.
Yes,
Yeah,
with
she
the
was
Yoda in
good.
the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like you're at a Comic-Con.
Or
And my whole life is a Comic-Con. Not really, but that would be cool.
It would be.
would you be all cosplay then?
Don't be getting some fucking ideas already, Sharon.
If
But
I
me and
dress
Becca,
in
me.
costume all the time, but I'm not talking about like specific costumes. I'm not saying I want to dress up like specifically as Cersei Lannister every day. I'm just like
Dressing in costumes.
I want to just
Let her
be
speak.
fantasy art all the time. That's it.
You want to be where?
I want to be fantasy art, like, you know, like.
I
Like
know
a
I give these.
butterfly or
I
like
always get these faces. She always talks about my
Literally.
faces because I get these weird faces. Like I hear, but then I'm like, totally like, what are you talking about?
To be fair, I get those faces from people a lot. It's not just you.
I know you comment on them a lot.
it's lady talk, you know.
So who the fuck is Sarah C. Lancaster?
What?
Lannister?
You didn't watch
Lannister?
fucking The Dragon Show?
Is this wait? Are you for real?
Talking about Game of Thrones?
Game of
Yeah,
Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Dude, so overrated. Oh my god! Like,
We were talking about Comic-Con.
I love these faces now.
well, it's just like me. It was on the episode with Spencer Sellens. We talked about it, and I was like, "It's okay." And I was only in the first season. And he's like, "If you think it's okay, don't continue watching it. It's so convoluted." And I didn't see the hype.
Okay, so I have a complicated relationship with Game of Thrones.
Oh, do tell.
I'm one of those people, and I know this is annoying, but I don't care. I'm one of those people that read Game of Thrones before there was ever even talk about it being a show. I read it in high school. Early 2000s, suburb of Sacramento, I was reading Game of Thrones, and it wasn't cool yet. And I was a giant fucking nerd, and then all of a sudden HBO made a show out of it, and all the same fucking assholes who made fun of me for reading it were like, this is my Facebook quiz result. I am Daenerys Targaryen. Fuck you, Jessica, the mother of dragons. You're the mother of a tolerant toddler named Jaden.
Oh, we just got violent here. What's that? She called
I
out
named my
names.
daughter Arya because that just had such an impact on my life.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, all that to say, the books are amazing, especially like as far as the fantasy saga goes. I only watched like the first like 4 or 5 seasons of the show.
There's only
I
6
didn't
seasons.
like it.
There's only like 4 seasons or 5 seasons.
I think there's 8.
Hey,
Get it together.
I've seen it all. How could you only watch
Have you?
6?
It was one of those, like, I watch it and then I'm like, this isn't what happened in the books.
yeah, that's what comes down.
Oh,
Yeah, it started changing up like that.
why I don't read.
So why do you don't read?
Yeah, that's why I don't read. I don't want, it's a effect with my HBO show times.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, the only plus that came out of it is I now get when people say winter is coming. I'm like, oh,
I know.
that snow guy said it.
That's no guy. Exactly.
No guy.
I mean, they all say it. That's the Stark, like, family motto. Literally.
Hey,
Who's
Tony.
I don't even. I was gonna say that's the only Stark I know.
You don't even really watch superhero movies, do you, Nick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You get down with the superheroes, just not the...
So that's not overrated, but
Rings.
Game of Thrones is? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that.
It's like the same level of hype.
It is.
It is. All right. I will admit, like, Avengers, Spider-Man. Spider-Mans were decent. Huge fan of Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Yes.
Love that shit.
Yes.
But, I mean, fucking Ant-Man.
Yeah. I like Ant-Man. I could not finish Doctor Strange. I couldn't.
Why?
I did not like it. I don't know what it was.
I didn't
Most
like it
people
either.
Love it. Most people love it.
It felt like, what an amazing cast, what an amazing collection of talented actors, but it felt like they were the people who were like, yeah, we're gonna be in a Marvel movie, but then Marvel was like, here's our worst story.
You get to be the nerd in the
That's the
Marvel
worst-
movies.
That's
I
the
don't know if
worst
it's the
story?
worst story. It's
Oh,
not the worst story.
no.
Worst movie, not worst story.
Worst movie? Oh, I don't know. There's some others.
Not good. There's like no, like,
I mean,
his hands don't work, and he throws a temper tantrum, and he's just this like pouty rich white guy, and then what? Tilda Swinton is
He's a
amazing.
wizard.
I love her, but she shouldn't have been playing an Asian character. We have to stop. Doing
yeah, we're doing that a lot. But you know why? Because China has a thing with Tibet. They're both duking it out. So you know
You can
that
find someone with loose morals.
you know that Disney is owned by China, right?
Yes,
They're not gonna do
but
that.
that doesn't mean that we keep. That's a different conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole...
I mean, the ghost in the Shell. Why?
Well, that's what
Why?
I'm saying. Like, if it was just the one time, you could be like, well, it's because of this. But it happens literally all the time with everything.
Yes, we gotta
All right.
lighten it up.
I need to interject
Winter is coming.
because Ghost in the Shell,
Uh-oh.
I spoke with numerous Asians on this because I work with them. I also read up on it. The
I
majority,
like how you said Asian.
Spoke with
Like,
numerous
not Asian
Asians.
people.
Really good.
Asians.
yeah, Thai people,
All of them.
a bunch of them.
They're all in one category.
But anyways, and I also read up on it. A lot of the Asian community was just like, dude, we saw Ghost in the Shell with an Asian cast. Like, we're cool with, whitewashing it. Like, that's not a big thing. It seemed to be, and one of the Asians actually commented on it. She was like, it just seems to be very American to get upset at whitewashing.
Yes.
Makes sense. Makes
Yes,
total
it is.
sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, like, that's just a facet in an entire system that's flawed. Like, that's just one piece in a system that hands white people everything. So maybe it seems silly to other people that were like, hey, we shouldn't be casting white people in roles that aren't white people. But at the same time, look at our fucking country right now. Do you think if we were genuinely, earnestly inclusive, that we'd be dealing with this? No, it's all tiny pieces of the giant problem. So maybe that felt silly to people, but it's still inappropriate.
Oh yeah, I was just sort of playing devil's advocate. I mean, I do agree that
Oh, shocking.
there's enough. Well, because at the same time, I'm like, all right, you guys are overreacting. But then, there is a whitewashing that happens. Like, I forgot who said it was like, I should play a trans person. It's like, no, you're a woman. Like, you should not play a trans character.
Right. But that, I mean,
What happened to acting?
What do you mean what happened to acting?
I mean,
Damn, we are getting deep quick.
yeah, like, and I don't speak, I try really hard not to speak on shit like this because I don't know what I'm saying, but like, it's acting, it's a gift, it's a talent, it's a skill. If I want to be a boy and I'm acting like a boy in a movie, I'm acting. I'm pretending to be someone. So therefore, I could be whoever the fuck I want to be if it's specific for what you're asking.
Fun
Right,
fact.
but the issue with it isn't just that, like, oh, let acting be acting. Again, it's the same thing. It's systemic. So why
That I
are
agree.
we telling trans stories with people who aren't trans when most of the time we're not even willing to
Accept.
include them in the larger conversation of policy and culture and safety? So yes, sure, an actor should be allowed to act, but we have a responsibility to tell stories the right way and tell all of the stories. And so if we're continually putting cis white people in every role, we're not telling every story. We're only telling cis white stories.
Here's a fun fact. You know, Gina Davis was actually supposed to star as Harriet Tubman in the movie
What?
Harriet Tubman. Yeah, Gina
Gina
Davis.
Davis?
Gina
No, I
Davis.
heard it was Julia Roberts.
Oh, Julia Roberts. My fault.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
They said after making the movie Cutthroat Island, they needed to make this movie Harriet Tubman, and they were going to pick Julia Roberts as the star. And the executives were like, "Okay, cool."
Well, you know what?
That's what I mean. There's a, like, that's, That doesn't
No idea.
All right, well, because I do have an actual, like, very serious discussion a little bit later on having to do with story time with Becca.
Oh.
So I do want to talk about that. But let's get on something we can all agree on, guys.
Sure.
Let's discuss the importance and sexiness of dragons.
yeah.
Oh,
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
What kind of dragons? We talking Tiamets, we talking black,
Fire breathing.
red. I'm a black, if you want to know.
Mm.
I'm a black dragon.
Well, but it depends on what universe you're talking about. Are you talking specifically D&D?
No.
I mean, there's dragons are fantastical creatures, so there's different, like,
You
know,
are so
realms.
cute with how nerdy you are.
Well,
I cannot even imagine, like, you are an adorable fucking nerd and you're super hot. Like, I don't, how are you not wifed up? I don't get it, man.
Shockingly,
You should be on a yacht.
I should be on a yacht.
With me. You should take me, your friend, on the yacht.
Okay.
Meet your husband.
This went
That's-
left.
Goal in life.
No, we're talking the dragons. Now they're going sexual.
Yeah.
Fine.
No, I'm not saying sexual. I'm just saying Becca, like, is beautiful and nerdy. She knows boy stuff.
I already know that.
Like,
I just know stuff that I like. That's it.
okay.
I just know
She
things I
reads
like.
books.
Dragons.
Wow, that's all kids qualificate.
She's an office manager. She's funny.
Yes. Thank you for selling me.
You are a
If anybody's
package.
interested, I'm not. Leave me alone, everybody. I'm just kidding, kind of.
There you go.
No,
That's where we're at.
leave me alone.
As we're going back, would you consider Godzilla a dragon then?
No, he's a radioactive lizard.
But he's dragoness. He spits fire.
Yeah.
Or
But I mean, I guess that would depend on, I don't know enough about, like, the Godzilla, like, origin story or lore to really be able to say. I mean,
And
maybe he's a dragon. He doesn't have any wings, though. I feel like.
And they do have one that does fly. That's three-headed.
See, like I said, I don't know enough about Godzilla to be able to say that he is or isn't a dragon. I don't know. But he's a very large lizard.
I mean, he boxes like Joe Louis. So
That's got to count for
You
something.
ever seen those?
Yes,
Maybe
I
it's Joe
have.
Lewis reincarnated. You never know.
Oh man,
Godzilla.
the new Godzillas are great. Watch them
Sure,
if you're listening,
sure.
audience. Watch them for sure. But I do want to talk about, because keeping with fantasy, the last time you and I talked, you were doing, was it fantasy comedy at the Comic-Con? Wasn't that the whole?
Oh yeah, that was literary pop.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes, that is the last time I saw you. Was at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
The one that you went to with Jason Momoa?
Yes.
Oh, nice, nice.
I didn't go with Jason Momoa. I don't know him. I just
know
got a picture
you
with him.
paid to get a picture with him because you're a good boyfriend.
So at that Comic-Con, some friends of mine who were also there, they're a couple, they got their picture taken with Jason Momoa, and Russell, the girlfriend, posted it, but she intentionally cropped out half of her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he was like intentionally making, like, he's just like really unhappy face, and it's just like half of him, and then it went viral. It was like posted on Reddit and was like shared around a bunch, but it was at San Comic-Con. It was very funny. But that was the show I was doing for that. It was called Literary Pop, that my friend Wonder Dave puts on, and it's stories about how some sort of like faction of popular culture has shaped you. So you tell a story of something that's meant a lot in your life, and I shockingly talked about dragons.
That's fun. That sounds like fun.
It's a really cool show. He's been doing virtual ones, so if anybody wants to check that out, if you just look up Literary Pop on Facebook, you'll find it.
I will definitely do that.
Yeah.
Sharon won't, apparently. Is that what that was, Sharon? You were like, no.
I was actually pointing at Danny. He's like, no, she won't.
I'm looking it up right fucking now. If I could just spell literary. I'm just kidding. Florida. All right, I found it.
Wow.
It's LITZ.
I have it.
Okay.
You said Z?
Jesus.
I did. I was trying to
I
look
have
her
a
up.
college
Ooh, damn.
degree. I just don't use it all the time.
Well, you had to read books to get a college degree.
Or yeah.
Wow. That hurts. That hurts.
It was like business management though, so it wasn't like books. It was like, this is how you should run
books.
things. You know, not like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or whatever you're into.
I don't know. Speak about that, Becca. How being an office manager, being in business management from her degree, how that not book?
I'm just saying it's not a fucking storybook. It's a fucking business book. It's a different context.
She was reading like analytical textbooks, not novels or sci-fi epics.
Yeah, Sharon. Geez, you're so goddamn testy.
Yeah. What did I do to you?
Be
nice to me.
I am nice to you. I say hi.
God damn. All
Wow.
right. Should we do a reset on this? Because I'm feeling the tension through the Zoom.
Right? Damn. Put another girl on, man. It's just over.
Yeah, I'm taking Becca.
No, she's
She's on
mine.
her side.
No.
She's on my side. Yeah. What? I got dibs.
We have vaginas.
I love everybody.
Stronger than
I don't
anything.
know what's going on.
I was gonna say, I was like, Becca looks. She had her hands in it, like, oh my god, what did I get myself into? They're arguing
Everyone
right now.
that talks about you like loves you. Like everyone, you're just the best.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's really
In
nice.
case you didn't know.
Didn't I? had no idea. I thought it was
Come on, Fluffer.
That's funny. That's whole thing. Yeah. No.
So you and Sharon actually go back pretty far, because you did it was Fat Chicks on Top, right?
I did, yeah. That's when I met Sharon. I guess was that when I feel like I met you before then.
You met me also DJing Comedy Burger.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually before that too, because you met me when you and Wendy were coming over to.
That's what it was.
Okay, yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Now we figured it out. So yes, I've known Sharon for a couple, like 2 years now, probably.
Oh yeah, I've even come out to San Francisco. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, I'm completely lost at how you guys met. It was just
We're in travel.
we met when you came over and Wendy, and you were like, oh yes, that's right. Okay, let's go.
Don't worry about it.
Never mind. It's
Yeah.
personal. Personal.
Whose house are you at?
that
Don't worry
living room.
about it.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need to know what's going on apparently in each other's lives. Thank you, Zoom. Thank you, Zoom.
I don't even remember how it came about, but I ended up. I think it was because I wanted to be on Fat Chicks on Top, or I'd
Yes.
asked about, or that found out. But I ended up going over to, was it Jenny's apartment?
Yep.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
his partner Rebecca and Wendy Lewis and Amber. Oh my God, that was the first
Yep.
time I met Amber too. Wow, good times. Amber
Good
Whitford,
times. Yep.
bunch of fun sack people.
We are
Fun people from Sacramento, not like.
Wow.
I was like, that sounds strange.
So since you've done the move from SAC to the Bay Area, how does that differ as far as comedy scenes?
That's an interesting question, actually. I felt like I kind of had like a weird trajectory. 'Cause I started comedy when I was living in Sacramento, but I only did like a handful of mics, and I genuinely felt like I just had a really hard time getting in. Like when I went to open mics, nobody really talked to me. I think Teo Morgan was like one of the only people who talked to me.
That figures.
Ooh.
It's like the nicest guy.
But yeah, it felt very clicky to me. But I think that's also just comedy in general, because we're all so fucking anxious and insecure and in our own heads about what we're doing that we all have this tendency to like, whoa. Anyway, so I couldn't really like click in Sacramento. And so I
How
kind of,
long ago was this, if you don't mind?
this was like 3 years ago.
Okay.
So I stopped doing it for a while and ended up doing like theater stuff, and that's when I started doing burlesque. And then I met a bunch of people from like Santa Cruz, the Santa Cruz comedy scene, as well as the Bay Area. And so I started, I was living in Monterey then. I moved from Sacramento to Monterey.
Nice.
And so then I was doing comedy in Santa Cruz, and then I started doing comedy in San Francisco. And I would say, hands down, though, that the Santa Cruz comedy scene is by far the most supportive and friendliest. I feel like getting in with them like really helped me feel like more confident and like accepted in what I was doing, which was really important because it's hard. Like it's really hard to put yourself out there. It's hard to get on stage. It's hard to say things and feel good about it, especially if you don't know anybody and you're just like standing there and it's not funny because you don't know what you're doing yet and everyone's just like staring at you. It's awful. So finding supportive people is important.
Now, as far as the richness of shows, I imagine that it's more dense within San Francisco.
Yeah, there's fucking shows everywhere, but that doesn't mean that they're good shows. You know, at least there were. There's nothing now. Well, I guess they're trying to do some outdoor stuff. I don't know, but yeah. So there's more shows in San Francisco, but like I said, that doesn't mean that they're better. And I've done a lot of really fun shows in Sacramento. I've done the Sacramento Punchline a couple times, and that was a fucking blast. So. Quality over quantity?
I really like Crow's Nest too, and that's in Santa Cruz. That's a good
I
spot.
haven't done that one.
That's a good one. That's a good bar.
Yeah, I heard good things about that show. I haven't done that one.
Yeah.
I really loved Rosie's on Wednesdays.
Oh, that's nice. I miss comedy
I know.
so much.
Yeah, but you're doing comedy, man.
I know, but it's not this. It's just, I'm not in my city. I'm not with my people. Like, I don't know. It's just different. I'm out
Doing
here
comedy
exploring,
tonight.
doing comedy, which is great. It's fun. I'm having a good time, but I would like to go home and do comedy too. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm doing comedy tonight.
At the Pink
Yes.
Martini, aren't you?
Yes.
Nice. You're actually gonna like.
No, I'm
Okay.
DJing.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Is it like a outdoor show or
Yeah.
a virtual show, or it's
Yeah, Marcus Megan.
They're
We're gonna
really good
have-
shows.
We're gonna have Steph Sanders tonight.
He's one of those people I'm friends with on social media, but I don't actually know him. I've never met him.
You know, Pete Munoz is that for me. Like done hella
Okay.
Zooms with him, and I've never met him, but we've talked so
I
many
feel like
times.
that happens a lot.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, the majority of my friends on Facebook I've never fucking met.
Really?
Outside of this podcast, no.
Yeah, I have a lot of that. People just add each other. Like I'll get random people all the time. It says we have like 50 mutual friends, and I'm like, I don't fucking. Who are you?
Right? Okay.
We're in the same sector.
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm writing notes.
Notes.
Yeah,
You're so-
yeah. We are professional here. Don't let the title fool you.
I am impressed.
So Becca, what you been up to for the past COVID?
Existential crises, just ongoing. I started seeing a therapist. That's been very exciting.
I did love the leopard sweats you put on Instagram. That was funny. I love
The
those.
what?
The leopard print sweats.
Oh, thank you.
That was
I'm a big
it
fan
was
of
very
leopard
nice.
print, everything in my
Ooh,
life.
look at that
Oh,
one.
shit.
Wow.
Fucking watch out. Because if there's another thing I'm weird about, it's cats. I'm a crazy dragon cat lady. I'm just really collecting
So
them.
that why you know Wendy? She's Dr. Cougar.
Look at this. Look, I got a little baby kitty.
No.
Aww,
I know.
precious.
Yeah, so sweet.
Trying to lure you.
I fucking love that. I was like, oh my god, you have kitties here? And I don't want to go home. Yeah.
You know, you could get a cat.
I have a cat. It's
Oh.
not a kitty. It's not like a little baby, like fun thing.
Okay.
Yeah, the ones that slash harder.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
cat's a bitch. Don't touch her. My cat will let you know when she wants to be touched. So.
So Becca, I gotta say, I like how you're so open about like seeing a therapist and existential crisis. I feel the existential crisis is just a common thing with most people.
Yeah. I think it's really important to talk about. I feel like the narrative of going to therapy needs to be more widely accepted. Everybody needs therapy, especially with what's going on right now. Like, everything that's happening in the world is unprecedented, especially in the United States. It's a fucking mess. Everyone needs to be talking to somebody about their feelings. And I feel very passionately about that. Fucking
Do you do it
keep
on
your shit
Zoom?
together, everyone.
Is it face to face or is it on Zoom?
It's Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I have all like, I'm a very like, I'm very much a like in-person energetic exchange kind of person, especially when it comes to therapy. But sometimes you
gotta do what you gotta
have those moments where you're like, wow, I'm so depressed, it's frightening me. Let's
Right.
get on Zoom.
Right.
That's what's been happening.
Speaking of Zoom, have you done any Zoom comedy shows?
I did at the beginning, but I have this terrible habit, and I did it before the pandemic. I never ask to be on shows. I know I need to, but I get really insecure about it. I'm like, if they haven't asked me, that means they don't want me on their show, which I know
Oh my god.
I know it's ridiculous, and I have to get over it. I'm just bad about asking. So at the beginning, I was asked to do a bunch of shows, and then that stopped happening, and so I haven't done any. So
Oh.
that's
I didn't know that was all it took. I will be sending you some links.
Okay.
You know.
But I've been writing a lot of material. I've written a lot of new material. So I need to do something.
You can always make a trek up here and do the pink martini.
Yeah. Actually, well, we can talk about that after the podcast because I'm going to be in SAC in like a week and a half, I think. So figure that out.
Yeah, you have to talk to Sharon. He's the gatekeeper of that list.
Perfect.
Why am I the gatekeeper?
I don't know.
Well, like Gozer to you? God, no.
Yes, you do. That was on the other day, and my God,
Yes, it was.
Ghostbusters holds the fuck up.
Yeah, it does. I watched that recently. I like that.
So that's when Sigourney Weaver was hot.
Oh. She's still hot. Fuck you.
Okay.
She's
Yes.
still super hot.
No, her hottest was Galaxy Quest.
I didn't see
I
that.
didn't think about that. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's when I thought she was the
But
hottest.
she got blonde. That's what she had on
Sexy
blonde
in
hair.
that movie.
I don't think she's that super hot, but you know, that's just me.
She's one of those people that like her sexiness is like her. Like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
just sexy.
Like she's a scary bitch. I don't know.
And she's just like powerful, you know? She just seems like a very powerful person. And I think that's sexy.
Cool. Very cool.
I don't know. I could keep talking about how sexy Sigourney Weaver is. Also, what kind, like the name Sigourney is one of those names
Yeah.
I've heard it my whole life because she's been famous for such a long time. But recently, I stopped and thought about it, and I was like, "Where did that come from? What name is that?"
Right.
Sigourney.
Same with Oprah. You don't hear anyone name their kid Oprah.
True.
Or yeah.
I'm sure there's a Sigourney somewhere.
I'm gonna look that up after this.
I'm gonna say it's Swedish.
Interesting.
I think Danny's looking it up right now. Actually,
I am looking it up right now.
all right. I say Swedish. What do you got, Sharon?
I say Swedish Danish. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Becca.
say her mom didn't like her.
Sigourney feels like old English to me, like actual old English or like German. So maybe I guess I could see like Scandinavian or German.
Okay.
Drum roll, Danny.
Yeah. Hold on. It's German. Dun, dun, dun.
Damn.
German.
Waiting for Becca.
I studied linguistics.
Oh, nice.
Good job.
Did you really?
I studied anthropology, so I had to take several linguistics classes.
So is it true that all the Eastern Bloc has a very guttural sort of dialect?
I mean that feels like just a description. Like I don't like. Are you talking about in terms of like where in the mouth the sounds come from?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you do get a lot of that in like a lot of the Eastern European languages. But that doesn't mean we have this like weird association with language in the United States because of like popular culture and like propaganda. Like the whole like German being an angry language was literally designed after World War II to make people hate the Germans. And it's still a thing in popular culture. So what's real? I don't know. Everything is nonsense.
What's real? Q is real depending on who you talk to.
Wait,
Fucking weirdos.
What?
QAnon.
Q the-
Those
Oh.
nuts.
Oh.
Okay.
No, I don't
Our
talk to
former
those people.
host, Jerron, is actually a QAnon guy.
Yeah. Do you see him and I ever having a conversation? Probably not.
I just see you getting mad at him that one day. That was great.
Well, he was hella drunk. He was very annoying. Like,
So-
I was like,
All right, so Becca,
There we go.
I started this with this guy, Jerron, who I took the comedy class with, and Rob, who couldn't be here today. So Jerron, we did this thing, and then Danny, in a
Forced
very
her way on
delightful
there.
way, yeah, she showed up, and she was always there, and so she became part of the podcast.
Nice.
Jerron is very right-leaning, like very right. And one day he was drunk, and basically he was screaming something about the gay pride parade.
he never spoke before this episode of the podcast, really. You would only hear, like, yeah. Like, you wouldn't hear him speak. He was singing, and he was yelling. He was chanting and marching.
I hear he made fart noises.
He was making fart noise. He was like getting a 17-year-old drunk, you know, just inappropriate. Like, come on, shut up.
So yeah, like she's right. We would have a conversation, and just under everyone talking, you just hear, "That's fucking bullshit," and that's all he would do.
Ew.
I love the guy though. The guy, he's just so great, and he has
What's
no
great
qualms.
about him?
He didn't come back after that episode. So,
No, you're right. He didn't.
yeah, no.
I like him just because we can have. It's very. Now we're gonna get serious.
It's a
It's
guy
very
thing.
hard to find somebody today where you can have difference of opinion and still be cordial, still be friendly, and not have your political agenda dictate who you're friends with, if that makes sense.
I can believe that.
So like he's ultra right. I am not ultra right. And I can, talk to him about some weird shit, be like, that doesn't really make sense. And we can have a back and forth. he can talk to me about some shit he thinks is weird, and we can have a back and forth, but we're still good at the end. I loved him.
I would say that's friendship in general. But
Not today.
Yeah,
People are just
Really?
people are, getting rid of friends left and right, man.
I have feelings about this. I wasn't gonna do it because I've been ranting and I sound angry already, but I don't care. The way I view it when we talk about like, you can't get rid of friends just because you don't agree. There is a difference between disagreeing on how a policy should be made or how we should handle our debt, and then just flagrantly and violently supporting racism and homophobia and transphobia. And so even if you view yourself as the kind of person who doesn't participate in those things, but you still support those policies, I can't be friends with you because that is violence. Those are violent, aggressive things that we're now reaping the repercussions of. So I have lots of friends who we talk about things and I'm like, I don't agree with that. We can still be friends because they're not threatening the actual livelihood of people that I care about or me.
right.
So, and I think that the reason it feels like all of a sudden we have this like rash of like, I can't be your friend anymore, is because people are really starting to finally feel more comfortable setting boundaries. And I think that's also part of the like therapy becoming a bigger thing, is when you recognize like this person and their belief system is harmful to me. You can cut them out. But that also means that sometimes you have conversations that are really uncomfortable because you're both yelling at each other and not listening. So there's different places on that spectrum that you can be, but I still think it's important to denote that there's a difference between just being like, we disagree on politics, and someone being like, oh, well, I don't think that you get to exist with the same rights, which might sound like an oversimplification, but that's what it is. So that's how I see it.
Makes sense. Danny?
I'm just gonna agree.
I was gonna say-
It makes sense. No. I mean, it does make sense. Obviously, I try not to talk about deep fucking politics. I try not to speak of things I don't necessarily know. I learned that last week from saying I saw a movie, and I clearly did not, because I would have remembered it. It was horrible.
So
Anyways,
how did you like it? What did you think?
I made some reaction videos and I sent them in a group chat. The movie was horrible. Hamilton.
So yeah, she saw Hamilton for the first time, Becca.
Oh, I actually have not watched Hamilton.
No.
You're not missing
You
out.
watch it one day and let us know.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that. It wasn't my cup of tea. It's definitely people like different things, different strokes for different folks.
That is
And-
true.
Yeah,
You
people
know?
like Oklahoma. I didn't. Although I like
have-
Neptune's
The
Daughter.
musical or the state?
The musical.
The musical. The States, it's okay.
You know, I find that I have a lot of acquaintances, but people I would actually call my friends, like friends. I mean, obviously we have the same moral guidelines and compasses, because they wouldn't be my friends. I wouldn't share, the things I share with them if we weren't on the same page to some degree, So my acquaintances, I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want to do, because I don't know you that well. I'm not that invested. But if I'm going to invest time in you, then yeah, you're going to, whatever. Do what I want, or whatever they say,
Shared
Be like
values
me.
are important.
Yeah.
Is that Magique?
No, that's Bo. He's yelling at something. He's yelling
Damn
at
it,
Cat.
Bo.
Bo.
Mushy.
So I guess we'll keep on the serious note, because I do want to talk about this, and Danny, I hope you weigh in on it as well, because it really is astonishing. So your story time with Becca, a lot of times has to deal with you experiencing harassment pretty frequently, and I want to talk about it specifically because like that, it astonishes me how often, and it can't just be a San Francisco thing, because I know you talked about being on Bart, and Bart, I will admit, Bart is full of fucking weirdos. But like, did you experience that in Sacramento too?
Yeah, I've experienced it pretty much everywhere.
Danny, have you seen her story times?
No, I have not.
I'm saying story time like it's that Vine guy.
Are they on Facebook? Like, where can I find
It's
these?
like they're like status updates. I'll post something with like the hashtag storytime with Becca.
Okay.
And a lot of times they're stories about me being harassed, sometimes assaulted.
I always just assume those are like, yeah, like I didn't know that like you were, whatever. It doesn't matter. They were just,
They're
not
there,
something I read.
and it's whatever. But yes, it happens all the time, and it happened in when I lived in Reno. It's happened in Sacramento. It happens in San Francisco and in Oakland, and it happened in England when I was there. It's happened in France. It's happened in Italy.
What are we talking about?
Being harassed, being catcalled, being followed, being yelled at, being called a fat bitch. The most recent one was I was literally walking from the laundromat that was a block away from my abode. And I stopped on the steps like up to my front door, and I was like standing on the second steps, and I had my hands in my purse pulling my house keys out, and this guy that I didn't know, that I've never seen before in my life, literally ran at me, slapped my ass as hard as he could, so hard that I almost fell over, and then he ran away.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a hit and run.
I can say that's never happened. So,
But that's
that's crazy.
I don't know what it is. This is actually something that I'm working on my therapist with. Like, why do I get this kind of attention so often?
Because you have confidence.
And maybe, or
no, it
just
is.
that I'm friendly. I don't know. But whatever it is, whatever it is,
you don't want
the problem.
it. Yeah.
The problem is the freedom that men feel towards women's bodies. That's the problem.
Sharon, you look like you want to weigh in on this?
No, I got a daughter, so I'm trying to see that from that perspective. It's like, oh, this is gonna be fun as she gets older. Great, yay!
Yeah, it fucking sucks, and it's hard to move through the world with confidence when it's just constantly being undermined.
Right.
Right.
How am I supposed to feel safe?
Right.
Yeah.
Or do you live in Oakland, or do you like live in the
No,
Bay?
I live in San Francisco. I live in like this weird intersection between like Japantown and Pacific Heights.
You can leave the name out. Just say you live in
don't
the
tell
weird
us where you
intersection.
live, but, that must really suck. I mean, that sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah.
I just think,
What else? I mean, did you have more questions? Do you want me to talk about it more?
Yeah. Why
No,
the fuck
I
are we
just-
talking about this, Nick?
well, because it really is astonishing to me. And maybe it's just because I come from a sort of low self-esteem, kind of like I could never get that chick, that I've never imagined walking by a random stranger, nor have I come across like an ass that I'm just like, oh my God, I need to slap that stranger's ass. Like, I think it just boggles my mind that
It's because you're a decent human.
I mean, I guess.
You know what's to touch and what's not to touch. You don't touch strangers.
And I think a really important aspect of it that isn't always addressed is that kind of behavior is very rarely about like sex or sexual attraction or feeling like, oh, I'm interested in her. It's the same thing as actual rape. It's about power. It's about making someone feel
Uncomfortable.
unsafe. Have you read that there was like I think it was a Reddit thread I've seen posts from and about where like there's a specific subgroup of guys who like get their rocks off by following women. They don't do anything. They just wait to see that she's scared and they get off on that.
Yeah, Reddit is just full of fucking weirdos.
Yeah. But the problem is that those weirdos exist in the world. Like, they're real people. It's easy to see their posts on the internet and be like, wow, that's crazy. But those people exist, and they're a threat to everyone, honestly, but especially young women.
Yeah. Well, I apologize because my intention wasn't to bring it up and sort of have you know.
No, I know.
cry.
And you told me that. I mean, I saw in the thing that you wanted to talk about it, and that's fine. And I got a little emotional because it sucks, and it's one of the reasons I'm in therapy. But it's also important to talk about because it's happening all the time. And every woman I know has at least some sort of story. Maybe it doesn't happen as often as it does to me, but it's still happening all the time. And then I'll also have conversations with men where they're like, flabbergasted, I had no idea. I don't understand why this would happen. So it is. I don't know what we need to do to fix it other than like holding those men accountable. And honestly, part of it too, I think, is the flippancy that we treat the topic of sexual assault in this country. I mean, you can't, like, Me Too became a joke immediately. And I get it, because it felt like a lot. And what do we do when something's overwhelming? We joke about it. But what happens when a serious topic just becomes a joke is you undermine its seriousness. And so now you can't talk about Me Too without people being like, oh, God, here we go. Jokes about violence against women. And I have just resigned myself to being a party pooper because I'm fucking tired of being assaulted. So I'm not going to joke about it anymore. Not like that.
And it's good that you're not on Twitter because, yeah, Twitter.
I am on Twitter, but I don't fully get it. I post sometimes, but I'm not like involved in Twitter.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love Twitter.
He loves Twitter.
I need to get more involved in Twitter.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I mean,
No, you don't.
I just feel like it's a good vehicle for comedians, like to post.
It is, yeah.
well, yeah, who
I don't use Twitter at all. I can't log into my fucking account. So
New one then.
no, I'm not gonna make a new one because Rad Chick Forever is my handle, and I'm not gonna. No, I'm not. I ruined it. I can't tweet. I cannot tweet. That is it. Doesn't fucking matter.
Well, yeah, because Buddy Raming, we had him on, and he said he talked about the importance of social media, and he actually said Twitter's the best social media to get audience members and get fans.
Lance said that too.
That's right, Lance did. Lance Woods.
Yeah, I've heard that before, and so which is one of those things where I'm like, I really need to get better at Twitter, but you would think now I have so much time to do things.
Well, here, what you can do is when you're pooping, send a tweet.
That's a really good idea, actually.
That's when I do my best thinking.
Oh my gosh.
That's time management.
Yeah, that's
Well, like no joke, I was going number 2, and all my tweet said was, just so you know, if you like this post, you're liking it when I'm pooping, and that fucking blew the fuck up randomly.
people love shit.
It's true. People do like to talk about poop.
Yeah. It's not talked about enough. I don't think people feel like it's talked about enough. I feel like it's redundant. It's over. We don't need to talk about you shitting. Everyone shits. It's okay.
Everybody poops.
Everybody poops.
Yeah, Rob has a young kid, and he swears by everybody poops.
Yeah.
It's a good book.
It's been around forever, and it's still used for potty training. It's classic.
Yeah.
I don't remember that book at all. Like, the earliest book I remember is that Caterpillar book.
You're in a different generation.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been a book you read to your kid, not a book you got read to you, I guess, maybe. I didn't have that book read to me either.
Remember the Berenstain Bears?
We're stepping into another weird realm of things that Becca knows a lot about, which is children's books, because I was the supervisor of the children's department at the Barnes & Noble in Reno for like 5 years.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know an odd amount about children's books. And I've sold many copies of Everybody Poops. Yeah.
The worst children's book is The Giving Tree. That fucking bastard.
Fuck that book.
Okay.
Fuck it.
And then at the very end, after everything, yes, you can sit on me, you dick.
I remember that. I remember reading that.
Yeah, you're just like, he takes everything from it, and then he's old, and he's like, let me just put my ass on you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read that book. I have not read that book.
It's
wild.
Very sad and fucked up.
Okay. Well,
good old Shel Silverstein.
I think
yeah.
what's
You know
funny
that
is,
he wrote A Boy Named Sue?
yes.
Yep.
He's friends with Johnny Cash. I love that tidbit.
it's one of my favorite Johnny Cash songs.
It's a great song.
I love it.
My name is Sue! How do you do? Love it.
Hmm. Good times.
What next?
Good old Shel Silverstein. I'm just thinking about Where the Sidewalk Ends. That was like the first book of like
Yep.
actually read fully.
Yeah,
Well,
I
still-
have like a super old copy of that book. My favorite. I memorized the poem "Sick" when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9, and recited it for something, a talent show, a school project. I don't remember.
Have you always been pretty like look at me, like I'm on stage, like talent show, whatever?
I've
Drama.
always needed excessive amounts of attention.
Me too.
Hi, Rebecca. I never like. I really wasn't much of like a formal performer. I didn't do a lot of like actual performing. I just liked to find ways that I could yell and talk a lot.
So did you, when you started comedy, did you just do it on a whim, or did you like take a class? Like how?
No, I do everything based on whims. I am all whimsy, baby.
It's the best way to do things.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was just one of those things that like people would tell me like, oh, you're really funny. Do you do comedy, or you should do comedy? And I was like, I should. I was that asshole. Like, I'm funny. um, so I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I just looked it up. And actually, fun fact, the very first open mic that I tried to go to had been canceled, and it was at the one in Rockland.
Blacktop?
Blacktop?
Yeah, Blacktop Comedy Club.
Blacktop, yeah, that one. It was supposed to be Blacktop, but they'd canceled it. They just like they didn't post it on their website that it was canceled.
But they were
I
bad
think
at
they
that.
shared to like their social media, but I didn't have them on social media. I just went on their calendar and it said that they were having an open mic, and I showed up with like Cass came.
Really?
Yeah, and like my dad and his wife came, and it was like dark. It was like an empty shopping like center, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was very upset, and so
Oh,
then I
and-
just like yelled in the parking lot.
And it was probably on the big side, which is even scarier.
Yeah, yeah.
So many of those people would be like, we'd be recording our podcast there, and then people would be like walking in, and I'm like, oh, are you here for the open mic? Like, let me take you over there. Or like, oh, they never wanted to sit down and watch us. They were just like, how do I get to the open mic? And I'm like, motherfuckers.
Selfish bastards. All of them.
Well,
Assholes, watch us.
It also didn't help that I have a tendency to just go with the flow. So
No.
I've invited, like we had Al Schumann on once, and this random chick just walked in for improv or something, and I was like, hey, you want to hop on? She hopped on, and then there was a big discussion about Biden, and I was like, all right, that's weird. But then we also
Yeah.
had one guy came in to listen,
Yes.
and he got offended by a joke I had about Karen Carpenter. Like,
Was that when Jessica was on?
yes.
Ugh, yeah. That guy was horrible. Like, why? We're recording a podcast, and you're like, oh yeah, here, you want to talk? And I'm like, no, you didn't pre-screen this motherfucker at all.
No.
That is a dangerous game to play.
Dude,
Like,
she-
they're just walking in from the street.
She
Yeah.
gave me the death stare. She
Yeah.
really was just like, what the fuck are you
Because I have to be the bad guy.
Well, first she gave me the death stare, and then verbally, out loud, probably where the guy could hear it, she was just like, all right, I guess we'll see where this goes.
Sometimes you have to say that to men to get them to pay attention.
Yeah, like, come on, motherfucker. We don't know this guy. Like,
Yeah, he turned out to be a wet blanket.
yeah, he looked like one.
I mean, my joke wasn't even offensive. I don't remember what it was.
I don't even know what it was.
I don't know what it was, but I know it wasn't offensive.
Well, I
Nick,
mean,
you're
it was,
never offensive. You're such a gentleman.
it was definitely dark comedy, but on the grand scheme of things I have said on this podcast, very, very low on the totem pole.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, he was like, well, that joke about Karen, like, that's the most distasteful thing I ever heard. I was like, what the fuck?
Right? He's like, I'm a huge fan. I love her. And I'm like,
You
who
must not
is
leave
that?
your house.
He didn't look like he left his house until he came out to Blacktop and Nick gave him a microphone. So,
I do think that like that using dark humor and like telling dark jokes is really difficult in the sense that like, I mean, if you don't care, it's not difficult, but like I feel like it's even harder to set up dark humor in a way that translates to a lot of people. Like a lot of times dark humor is only funny to like dark.
immediate, yeah, to the, yeah.
You know, but I love when it can be done in a way that everyone's like, oh, okay. But that's really fucking hard to do.
Have
And
you
so
tried that?
What?
Have you tried dark humor?
Yeah.
Your face, yeah.
And it didn't go well because I didn't set it up properly. I had like wrote some stuff about like some stuff that happened when I was younger with like boys harassing me and following me home and calling me and threatening me.
Damn.
Yeah. And I had what I thought were some pretty solid lines in there, but it was like crickets. Everyone was just like, so
I was
like, this isn't my thing.
my
Talk about being a
son.
fat Disney princess.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, dude, my fucking son was diagnosed with cancer, and I wrote a joke. Like, and it was a true story. Like, I was like, look, if I'm gonna reach out to make a wish, your wish better include your mom and a beach, and like let's not waste a wish. And I was trying to like make a joke out of it, just because we were, just trying to like go with it, and like it's never ever gotten the reaction I feel like it should.
Yeah.
I'm like, get the fuck over it. Like, we got through it. Why can't you?
Well, and I
Yeah.
think the reason why is exactly that is when you say like get over it, it's because people make it about themselves.
Right.
And so then they're like, that's too hard for me to imagine. I couldn't deal with that. I can't laugh at you.
How dare you tell that to your cancer-ridden child?
Right.
Like, get the fuck. Are you serious? Yeah, I still make him take out the trash too. Like,
She does.
like I wish people would just kind of take themselves out of the thing and just look at, But it is hard to write dark.
And I
Shout
think
out to your
also
son.
I've noticed too that like comedy audiences, like when someone's going to a stand-up show, even if it's just like some random amateur show that we're doing, like not even necessarily at the Punchline or whatever, people approach comedy shows with this like obstinance, like you have to make me laugh. It's like a challenge. Whereas like when I've done comedy at like storytelling shows or burlesque shows or like something like that, people are just like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
And I feel like those audiences tend to be more open to the experience.
Yeah, because they're just down for whatever.
Yeah.
When you're going to a bar and they're like trying to catch up, and you're like, listen to me, I'm funny.
That's where I thrive because I'm so fucking loud. You can't have a conversation about the Philadelphia Pine Cones or whoever they are. I don't know sports teams.
Philadelphia Pine.
Because I'm yelling about my vagina.
Yes!
Wow.
You will listen to it.
You're gonna have to teach me. It's so loud.
Oh.
So you brought up burlesque, and Danny's done burlesque shows. Is there a special like thing that happens with burlesque shows that you like so much? Because I've seen on your Instagram you've done a couple, right?
Yeah, so I mean I've done like some myself, but then once like I decided comedy was more like what I'm not a dancer. When I did here is a story to illustrate that. Two really quick stories to illustrate that. I am not the actual like burlesque performer, dancer person. The first burlesque show that I did, we had like a group number and we were all like positioned next to each other in like the order that we were gonna do solos in this performance. It was Cell Block Tango. So we each had like, a guy that we were complaining about, if you've seen the song, or Chicago. And I was like kind of at the end, and the girl who was standing next to me, I mean, you can't, if you were watching this and you don't know, I'm 5'5" and like 200 pounds, and I have huge boobs, and I look like a potato with curves. And I was this woman who was like 6'1" in her bare feet, who was wearing heels, and is just like all like long, lean limbs. And then there was me, and just.
That's hella funny.
And we were supposed, when it wasn't our turn to be dancing, we were just supposed to be like casually like feeling ourselves basically in the back. And I tried to do one of those like up down maneuvers where you go down and you come back up. I had my hair, it was like all curled and like piled on top of my head. It got caught on a nail in the set and I got stuck. This during a show. On stage in a performance, and my hair got wrapped around this nail, and so I literally like stopped and was just like, I don't know what to do. And it took me like a minute to get it unwrapped. And of course, Kelsey, the girl that I was standing next to, her husband was recording, so he got the whole thing on video of me. Just like, you can just like see me stop and like panic, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what to do. It was great. And then in another show that I hosted, we had like a streamer curtain, and I assumed that it was like actual curtain where you could like move it, you know, like you have the streamers and you open them. I didn't realize that they had stapled it to like a board on the bottom, so you couldn't open it. Just like, and I tried to, during a show, I was improvising and I tried to come through it and I got stuck and I almost fell.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so you just have to be willing to look stupid to do burlesque. That's all. That's all. Yeah.
Let me know when you're done so I can make dinner.
Hi, Auntie Vice.
Can we come to your house for dinner?
Oh, now they heard you say dinner. Okay.
Yeah. Man, she can fucking cook.
You know, I just had a moment where she was getting ready to drop her breast on my shoulder just for Becca. I was like, don't do that. Don't do that.
YouTube frowns upon nudity.
Wow.
Oh, great.
That's not right. This ain't right.
Oh my God,
This ain't right. I gotta look behind me for this.
I think that's the most titty that's ever been on this podcast at one time.
Titties. Yeah, it's a lot of titties.
It is a lot of titty.
A lot of titties going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of which, Danny, you think my tits grew?
Oh yeah. Oh, I recently, before I left for Vegas, I went to Nick's house to pick up some business cards to take to Vegas. He came downstairs. I think it was the first time he saw sunlight in a couple months. You're definitely growing and not taller.
No. I believe
you looked great.
Your words, I believe, were, damn, you have gotten big.
Your tits just looked a little more riper, like they were just ready. Maybe they're ready for picking for summer. I don't know.
They're bad. They're like, I look down and I'm just like, these are officially boobs. Before they were just like sort of pecs that popped out, but now they're like doing the thing where it's like they were like this, but now they're dropping, like they're hanging. It's sad.
Just get a bra for them.
A man's ear.
Are you saying you went from a B to a C?
I mean, technically, according to Danny, I was already a C.
He was a lightweight C. I would say he's a heavy C now.
Okay, but bra sizes, the actual size of the cup depends on the band size as
He's
well.
a 42C.
So that's not really a C. That's a B, really.
But he's not that fat. Like, he's not a big guy. So to have a 42B on, you've seen him in person.
Did you put him in a bra, or are you just guessing?
No, we measured. I brought a tape measure. We measured him and Rob. He had the biggest tits of everyone, all the guys. It was on his request. It wasn't like some weird fetish I have. He wanted this.
That was a great episode, Becca. You really need to hear it, especially because you get David and Rob, who didn't plan on getting measured, and they're like, all right, to make you feel better, we'll get measured too, thinking they'd be bigger. And no, they were smaller.
Yeah, I thought Rob for sure would be bigger.
Oh, that was a horrid day.
It was great. I should have. Next time I see you, I'll remeasure. I'll let you know, because you gotta keep up with the growth.
That is true. You have
make
to
sure they're supported.
like once a year.
Yeah. You want to have the right kind of support, because you don't want saggage and,
I don't want boobs in general.
Well,
I mean, I guess I could work out.
Becca found out she's an H.
Yeah.
She's an H now. Her bra size an H.
What, she's just growing? Her tits are just getting bigger?
A just went up.
I legitimately have fear inside of my heart that mine are just never going to stop growing.
Why?
Because the last time that I got fitted,
okay,
one of the bras that they put me in was a K.
Ooh.
Look at how excited your face is.
What?
It was horrifying.
So, so after triple D, it goes like the alphabet, right?
Yes.
Like an E would be, bigger, and then an
Yes.
There's nothing bigger than
Sometimes you
triple
have
D.
double E's or double F's, and yeah. So some of them, like, it also depends on on the lingerie company. When you get up in those sizes, there's very few American lingerie companies that make bras. Most of them are either British or French or Polish. There's an amazing Polish lady that hand makes bras.
How much
Really?
are those though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
It was my favorite bra that I've ever had ever. It was so comfortable and it was so it was great. I literally snapped the underwire in half.
oh yeah, I do
Damn.
that on a fucking at least every quarterly basis. I snap some kind of bra wire, and it's so sad.
It's so sad when it happens.
Oh yeah.
One, because bras are fucking expensive.
Yes.
And two, because just the sheer mass of your breast has snapped a metal wire.
And this tiny little fucking wire that you pull out, like, because it's poking you, and you pull it out, and like, I remember once I was at Blacktop, and they were like, "What the hell is that?" And I was like, "Yeah, this went to one side of my bra. That's fun because it never happens at home."
Lopsided the whole day because it was like
Lopsided.
so I had to take the underwire out, and it was literally like one boob was up here and the other one was down here.
Yep. I feel it.
Listen, it's
I
a
had
lot
that
of work
before.
that goes into
Yeah, I appreciate it. Gotcha.
especially a woman with big boobs. Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Yeah, I would.
For
Yeah.
real.
You need a fucking engineering degree to make a bra this size. It's ridiculous.
Technically, who was it? Who's that crazy guy?
Well, that's
He
helpful. A
became
guy
a
making a
hermit.
bra.
He became a hermit. He was really rich. What's his name?
Became a hermit. and he was
Like the first really rich guy, Howard Hughes.
Oh,
He used his engineering ability to create a bra for, I forgot who it was. Betty Davis.
He doesn't have tits.
I think you realize that.
it wasn't Katharine Hepburn, was it?
No, it was the chick that was in The Outlaw. I forgot who it was, but he created that, and she said that was the most uncomfortable thing. But that was engineering.
Damn.
The most
he-
uncomfortable thing?
Yeah, she
Maybe
hated
he
it.
just wasn't familiar enough with boobs.
Yeah, he doesn't know. A guy's not going to make a good bra. You want to know why? Because a guy doesn't have fucking titties. Like, especially giant ones. Like, if you're making bras and you're making my size bras, I want you to at least know the struggle that I have to go through to take care of these things.
Sure,
I'm not going to be able to go to Walmart and find a fucking bra.
Also, they're really heavy. They're
Yes.
so heavy. Can we please talk about how heavy they are? They're so heavy. I get like permanent indentation. Do you see that?
Yeah.
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 It's ridiculous.
Heavy lifting. Ouch.
It has, literally.
And we don't have a choice.
Shoulders or something.
Yeah. Go braless. I don't think so.
Yeah, fuck you.
What is that? Like, Jackie Pearl is always like, "Oh, do you even need a bra?" And I'm like, yeah, obviously.
I need 7, okay?
Like, do you even?
So wait a minute. So is it really true that bigger breast women have a thing against tiny breasted women? They always are. They're always fighting
no.
because I see a lot of them. It's like like that little titty bitty.
Oh no! I'm just super
Men do
jealous. I
You
would
know?
love to go out in public and look halfway decent without a bra on. That would be great. And that just isn't a reality for me.
It's also not safe. Tacking on to the conversation we had earlier, I could be wearing literally a circus tent and I'll still get assaulted. So I sure as fuck am not going to be going out without a bra. Fuck all of you. No.
Wow, that's a
And
hard way of
it's
looking
kind of like, they do what they want, and it's not. They need to be supported because they're heavy.
Exactly.
The
And they
rest of their-
go
yeah.
places. They migrate.
Yeah, I can't lay on my back.
So hold
I
up.
can't
So
lay on my back because they're on each side.
so do you yell at Paula and Amber? It's like, Amber, get back in place. Paula, what's going on with you? Stop going off that guy. Stop. Come here.
Mine are big and bigger. That's their names.
That's it.
Yeah,
Don't
because
have
this
like
one's slightly bigger. And it's like Dumb and Dumber. Big and big.
Oh, okay.
That's just what I call them.
What's the most annoying sound?
Do you have any idea how many times I've punched myself in the face by adjusting my bra? Just like,
Oh god.
Not something that you ever think you have to consider
Right.
in your life.
Or
But
like when someone like
I
goes to
mean,
lay on you and you're like, hold on, oh, let me
Yeah.
move my tit. Yeah.
yes, the
That's
only way
worst.
that I can sleep on my stomach is if I arrange them in a very specific
Yeah.
way.
So
Yeah.
you
Like
saying your booze?
Tetris, just to sleep.
So you saying your booze fall into your armpits?
Yes. Yeah. If I'm not wearing a bra and I lay down, both boobs just like.
And it
puddle.
hurts.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. And you have to
Yeah.
like pull them out.
Yeah. It's not the business. Anyways.
A struggle.
The struggle continues.
Everybody loves boobs, but you just need to understand that it's not all sunshine and cleavage, okay? Like there's a dark side to boobs,
Yes.
right? Just like
I would love to suffocate a man one day with my tits. Just be like, oh,
listen, I thought about it.
right?
I thought about it.
The next guy, Anna Nicole Smith, it's over.
So I like we were talking about burlesque before. I am the MC for a dance group based in Carmel, actually, like Monterey area, and we just did like our own original production that me and the director like kind of wrote together. That's like a spoof on like James Bond and like spies. And at the end, that's how I kill the villain is by
Yes!
with my boobs. Yeah, it's fucking great.
Well, better than going by the legs.
I mean, that might depend on who you ask, but
That Captain Sailor really enjoyed himself.
All right. Well, there's really no fucking way to segue into this next thing, so I'm just going to say it. We're going to end in just a little bit, but before we do, we are going to do our ever popular, ever famous Inside the Comic Studio.
Brilliance.
Before we do that, Becca, plug your social media, plug any shows you got, anything you want, really.
okay. So you can follow me on Instagram at bhenry, BEEHNRY. I'm a really big fan of thirst traps because I need attention and I'm not really doing comedy right now, so I need even more attention. And I have daddy issues, so just really it's driving that home. And Twitter, like I said, I'm not very good at it, but I am on it and I'm trying, and that's at hiss bang. And what else am I on? I don't know.
By the way, is Hiss Bang Bang, is that like making fun of the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Yeah, I thought it was funny, and I love cat.
Such an underrated fucking movie. Love that movie.
Agreed.
Gay Perry, he's great. Love him. Sorry, it's a great movie. You guys got to watch it. Shane Black, dude that did Lethal Weapon and Predator. Great dialogue.
Yeah, the dialogue is fantastic.
Yeah. All right, so you have nothing else to plug? No shows?
I don't know, I guess not.
No Zoom? No?
I don't really have anything. Like I said, I don't really have anything coming. So.
All right, Danny.
You can find me at RadChickForever on Instagram, Cash App, Venmo, Facebook. Whatever you want to find me at is totally fine. I'm in Vegas doing some comedy because I need to perform for live people. So Sacramento parks just weren't doing it for me. It's too fucking hot. The world was on fire. I had to go. Yeah, that's it. I have some Zoom shows coming on. You can go onto my Facebook page and check them out.
All right, Sharon.
You can catch me DJing for Comedy on the Rocks. We have a show coming up on September 9th. Please get tickets and go to the Pink Martini website to check it out. And you can find me at Rest Wonderland. And you can find all my podcasts, Iambic Poetry Podcast, coming to you right now. We took 2 weeks off. We should be back in September 1st. Boom.
Boom. Follow me on Twitter at the Big Nick J. All right, Inside the Comic Studio is brought to you by Seattle Gummy Company. When you need to be alert and focused, fast mocha shots, high-energy gummies work 5 times faster than coffee, and at half the price. Combination of active ingredients improves focus, enhances cognitive performance, and reduces the jittery side effects of caffeine, so you can get shit done anytime, anywhere. Vitamin B complex boosts performance. 5 grams of sugar per gummy. Use promo code GAG15. You'll save 15% off your entire order. Becca, have you listened to the podcast before?
Yes.
Holy shit, you have?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I get some gummies.
Oh, you did?
I ordered some. They're
Nice.
coming.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sorry, Becca. We're just not used to our guests knowing anything that we even exist. So that's amazing.
Well, to be fair, you did ask me to go on this like a long time ago, so
I did, yes.
I've known about it for a while.
And thank God you didn't come on then, because we would have had Jerron, and that would have been all weird. Like,
Damn, you asked her that long ago?
yeah,
Wow.
she was like one of the first people I asked.
Oh, I know why.
And then we were on Zoom. Well, because I know her and she does comedy. And then we were on Zoom, so I was like, oh shit, now we can
Yeah.
really get her. But yeah, that would have been weird, because I don't think Danny Luna even wants to come on, because Danny Luna was on the one when Jerron was drunk, and Danny was not having a good time.
Well, you know, to each his own. Everyone is in their own little space. I think Danny would come on, but I mean, on Zoom, it's just not.
It's fucking great. Shut up.
I can't feel your aura.
I know, I do
Thank
miss
you.
live shows. Stab Theater needs to just let us fucking record there.
All right. Well,
I said it. Fuck it.
I said it.
I guess
like
that would
that.
require me to be in town, so I'll take Zoom.
Yeah, you're not even there.
I know.
You're not even here?
I'm in Vegas.
She's in Vegas, man.
What?
She said this like 5 times. Where have
He
you been?
doesn't listen.
No. Really? Okay.
All
You
right.
saw his sassiness when he got on. He's mad at me for some reason.
I am not mad at you.
Oh my
I miss you.
God.
I
Oh,
miss you, but
See?
I'm not mad at you.
Man, you two need a couch and a therapist. Jesus Christ.
we need
All
a
right.
Wednesday night at the Pink Martini. Yeah.
All right, so we ask all comics the same 5 questions, which I'm sure you know because you've listened to the podcast. That's amazing.
We're
Awesome.
gonna find out.
All right, first question is first joke that landed well.
The first joke that I had that landed well was probably. I used to start my sets by saying that I really wanted to get into comedy because I just have a lot of things to say and I needed an outlet for that. I needed a captive audience. I just needed people sitting there who were socially obligated to not walk away when I said things to them. And then I'd be like, I'm just kidding. I don't have a dick. I have to be funny.
God damn.
That was probably my first joke that landed really well because it was always at open mics where I was the first woman and everyone had just listened to 15, 22-year-old dudes talk about their dicks. So
That seems to be a common theme with open mics, apparently.
yes, very much so.
Dick jokes? I'm unaware of a dick joke at an open mic.
What is that?
What is that? So,
All right.
I'm sorry.
What? What are you sorry for?
That fucking fire alarm.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, y'all turn the batteries out?
Nobody can reach it.
Reach it.
That's what I asked her. I was like, really? No. And
This isn't my house. I'm not gonna fucking do your shit.
just bust it with a broom next time. Okay, second question. Favorite thing about your local comedy scene?
Favorite thing about my local comedy scene would have to be like the camaraderie at a show, like everyone standing outside smoking weed and just like talking shit. It was always really fun.
Weed at a comedy show. Never heard of
I know,
that.
shocking.
All right, going the opposite way. Next question. One thing you dislike or would like to see changed in your local scene?
It is kind of changing, but one thing, and it ties into what we've talked about already, was like there's just a lot of open mics in some shows where I'm not a fan of censoring, but like I've left shows and like having panic attacks because there were people like telling stories about domestic violence and like joking about it, and a lot of jokes about pedophilia, and and being like nothing's off limits, and you know, just because you can tell a joke doesn't mean that you should tell a joke about fucking children. So I don't really know how to fix that. I think it's just one of those things that like, I don't know, maybe we have like workshops on how to understand power dynamics and humor and not being a disgusting pervert when you tell stupid jokes. I don't know.
All right.
I'm not saying you can't tell jokes about those things. I'm just saying that I've never, like, you don't hear good jokes about them. Like, how many people have been like, wow, that joke about pedophilia was really smart and well written? Never.
I'm trying to think of who could actually nail it. Maybe Jim Jeffries could.
Okay, but you're at a fucking open mic, so they're working on trying to nail it. But I mean, it's there's a time and a place, and know your crowd, and know what you're doing, and maybe work on it with your friends in a group first before you go out there and try to spit it. I don't know. Maybe make a name first, and then start getting into your dark shit.
But what I'm saying is it's the understanding of like power dynamics. That's a whole thing. That's an entire podcast episode in and of itself.
Yeah, we're not going to get too psychologically deep on here. 4, your favorite local comedian.
My favorite local comedian, does that mean like the entire Bay Area or just San Francisco? I'm going to say Bay Area. Fuck you.
All
my
right.
favorite local comedian, is Ryan Goodcase. He's so fucking funny and he's so fucking nice. He's just a good person and he's hilarious.
He was on here.
Yes,
He was?
Yeah,
he was on here.
Love him. He's a precious angel.
he is. He was hilarious. I just love his deadpan fucking humor.
So funny.
All right, lastly, advice to new comedians.
Try. Just like put the work in. Figure out what works for you. Learn about power dynamics. Read what other comedians have wrote about comedy and make it matter. It's not about like getting on stage and talking out of your butthole. It's about having a platform and saying funny things that matter. Even if those funny things are silly, you can still do it in a way that matters.
Boom. All right. Does anybody have anything before we go? No? No? Sharon's already drinking orange juice over there.
Actually, it's not. It's a Thai iced tea.
Ooh, oh, jealous.
Yeah. Yes.
Love Thai iced tea.
Does that have alcohol in it?
Not yet.
Oh.
It has sweet milk.
Oh. Like a horchata?
Mm-hmm. Like that.
I know horchata. Horchata. All right.
It feels like a comparable drink to horchata. I mean, they taste differently, but I feel like they exist in the same family of drinks.
Same realm.
Same texture too, like same,
Not really.
like really.
No.
Okay.
Probably depends. Anyways.
Yes.
All right. Way to end this on a fucking high note there, guys.
Yes. Thai tea.
Shit on this one, but
It's
Jesus.
the bomb.
All right, Becca, thank you for coming on. This was a great episode. Again, sorry if
Becca, miss
me
you.
bringing up the story time affected.
No, you're fine. This was great, and I really appreciate you guys having me. And I think that we had several really like big, important conversations, and a bunch of silly nonsense ones that were amazing. So this was great. Thank you.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Thank you again. Bye. Take it easy.
Yeah.